All right, so we're going to be starting our narrative unit. So this video is to instruct you guys how to fill out this slideshow. So you're going to want to split screen to be able to do this well. And I'm not going to take pauses in the video because you can pause the video yourself when you need to pause it to be able to fill things out correctly. So pause it when you need to. So let's start with the beginning. It says personal narratives are about personal experiences. They allow readers to share an author's excitement, sadness, or happiness about a time in an author's life. Personal narratives reflect on one event and give insight into the author's life. So when we're writing something, we always want to consider raft. We want to consider the role. And in this case, you're playing yourself. You are going to be the person in this narrative. That's why it's a personal narrative. And then the format is going to be personal narrative. That is the type of essay we are writing. Your audience is your classmates and your teachers. Keep in mind that your classmates, you may have one classmate that reads this that does a little peer editing. I'm kind of deciding if we have time to do that at this point. But if we have time, I'd like to do that. So don't write about anything that you don't want a classmate to read. So keep that in mind, that you don't want to necessarily reveal something super personal unless you're okay with other people knowing about it. And then topic, that is your topic. So my topic is bending my ski pole. Sorry, my dog is having a drink behind me, so you are hearing her take a drink. All right, understanding your goal. Your goal is to write a personal narrative about an interesting personal experience that taught you something. So the elements of narrative writing, these are actually the elements of all writing. And it is something that I'll be grading you guys again and again on. So I do want you guys to know what this is. So make sure you take these notes down. So ideas, you share the most important ideas and details to make the reader want to know what happens next. Organization, put the ideas or put the events in logical order. Be sure to include a beginning, a middle, and an end. So that's really easy with a narrative. Organization's pretty simple with narrative. Voice, use your personal voice and writing style to tell your story. Make it sound like you and only you can tell this story. Word choice, include words that express how you feel about the experience. Personal narratives highlight emotions. Sentence fluency, create style in your writing by writing original sentences in a variety of lengths. And then conventions, use correct punctuation, capitalization, spelling, and grammar so that your narrative is easy to read. So this right here is the rubric. This is what I'm going to be grading you guys on. So let's just focus on the 4s because that's what you should be aiming for. So 4 is the highest you can get. In ideas, the narrative focuses on one event. The ideas and details are presented in an engaging and memorable way. For organization, present ideas in a logical manner with a strong beginning, middle, and end. Use transitions to enhance writing. So we'll be working on transitions. Voice. The author's voice is exceptionally reflected in the narrative. Word choice uses words and language in a precise and or clever way that creates a picture in the reader's mind. Mechanics and grammar. No mistakes in mechanics and grammar. So it's only 20 points for the final draft of the essay itself, but all of the planning that we're going to be doing, basically the slideshow that you're going to be filling out, is all worth 20 points too. So if you consider that, really this whole thing, the whole unit is worth 40 points. So, do your very best at it. All right, so this one you're going to be writing about your own stuff, but I'm going to show you how I would fill it out from mine. So I'm going to write my narrative about the time I was skiing and broke my pole. I think this would be a good topic because it's kind of funny and I can include a lot of details because I remember it well. The lesson I learned from this event was I learned to stay calm and not to panic. Here are 3 ways I could begin my personal narrative. Maybe a question, maybe some dialogue, someone talking, maybe a great quote about learning to stay calm or learning not to panic. Some details that I can include. I can include the smell of the trees, the feel of the cold air, the panic I felt, the feeling of that pole bending. I'll never forget that. The description of my ski equipment, and maybe even my ski clothes. Dialogue. So I can include probably a lot of dialogue, but definitely what I said when I realized my pole was broken. And yeah, I remember 2 ways that I could end my personal narrative. I could talk about the relief I felt at the end and deciding that I probably overreacted. All right, so focusing your topic. Who was a part of the experience? My husband and my son. They were on the lift with me. What happened? My ski pole got bent in half. When did it happen? It was 2 winters ago. Where? At Hoodoo, the Hoodoo ski area out there. Some of you guys may have been there. Why did the experience impact you? I was panicked. It's just like it made a really solid memory of how that felt. How did you change? I know not to overreact now. What did you learn? I learned not to panic as much. These two may be similar. How did you change and what did you learn? I ended up having to like take what I put and how did you change and put it in how what did you learn? So if those two say the same thing, that's okay. All right, putting your events in order. So most narratives are organized in a chronological order. That means time, list of events. So list the main events of your experience in order in the quick list below, then add the lesson you learned. So I actually took out the lesson, so all you have to do is just do the events because you already did the lesson. All right, so my topic was bending my ski pole. So the first thing I did was we were deciding to go to the top of the mountain. We were getting on the lift. The pole getting dragged and bent, trying to straighten the pole, panicking when it wouldn't straighten. I remember being almost in tears. My son and my husband were both trying to, I should say, they were trying to comfort me and trying not to laugh at the same time. I got off the lift, I skied down with one pole, and it made it to the bottom without falling. All right, so sensory details. A good story includes lots of colorful, specific details. Some of the details that you incorporate into your personal narrative should relate to the five senses. Then the reader can imagine not only what things look like, but also how they sound, smell, taste, and feel. Fill in the sensory chart below the words and phrases to describe your narrative experience. So describe what you see. So I just kind of put a little series of things. I remember seeing the lift, the mountain. I remember seeing the bent ski pole. I could also mention the trees as well, I think would be a good one in there, and the sparkling white snow probably would be good. Describe what you hear. I remember hearing the sound of my son and my husband trying to comfort me while trying not to laugh. And I remember the sound of my panicked voice. I still remember what my voice sounded like. What you smell fresh air. I could have also put the smell of pine trees, and I think I probably will put that in there. Describe what you taste. I didn't really taste anything on this one. I guess if I wanted to really include taste, I could talk about like having a hot chocolate at the end, but I think I'm going to end it before I go into the lodge. I think I'm just going to end it when I get down to the bottom of the mountain. So I didn't really taste anything. So you may find that one of these is completely blank as well. I'd like you to try to fill out at least 4 of them. And then what you can feel or touch, the feeling of the pole dragging, the rigidity of the pole, meaning that I couldn't bend it back once it was bent. I remember even like, despite it being so cold, I was sweating. So that's what you guys are going to do. That should get you, yes, so that's where we're stopping right there. So I would like you guys to go back and fill out your own. Again, if you need to rewatch this, rewatch it as many times as you need to fill it out. Please do not take my ideas. If you are going to write about a time you went skiing, write about your own personal time. Make sure that nothing is dragged over from mine to yours. And feel free to email me if you guys have any questions on this. And don't forget, we're always available during study hall. So I hope this helps, and I hope you guys have a great day.